last week. We had oil story after oil story.
Oh, good. Here comes Tammy. Go ahead and tell us what you got for us. What's a good oil story?
So first of all, my youngest son, he fell and cut open his chin this last week. Just got it glued shut, so we didn't have to do stitches or anything. But I was putting my helichrysum around it, and in fact, I need to do it today. We've been doing it all week to help it heal and stuff. Once the bandage and the tape comes off, then I can start putting it directly on to help lessen scars and stuff.
Oh my goodness.
But so then there was that, and then the next day, my oldest, he broke out in hives, and we're not really sure what from, but he was just covered completely head to toe in hives and rash and bumps. He was all itchy. So I was, giving him putting tons of lavender all over him. And then I also gave him the Tri-Ease capsule to help him, instead of like Benadryl or whatever. So that helped. Within a couple days, he was feeling a lot better and stuff. We actually did a doctor appointment just to check on it. And she prescribed me a steroid, but by that point he was already on the mend, and I was like, we don't need to take a steroid.
Yay!
so I was like, yay. So yeah, those are my oil stories from the week. It was a crazy week. So
awesome. Anybody else have an oil story they want to share? I would like to share. Janie's not on tonight, but Janie was living with me for a few months, and we helped her move into her apartment last Saturday, and she took a fall the night before she left, and so she kind of twisted her leg and her foot, and she's trying to move, and she's trying to direct traffic the next morning, and I'm like, did you put your oils on? And she said no. And I sat her down, and I took her shoe off, and I put helichrysum on, and I put deep blue on all over her foot and leg, and about an hour or two later, she pretty much sat and directed traffic everywhere we went. Her new landlord said, you get to the ER. So she did. And luckily nothing was broken, but bless her heart, she is in a lot of pain and twisted things and has a brace up and down her leg. And she's using the oils all over the place. And she could sure use some prayers. So we're praying for you, Janie. Anyway, very thankful to have these wonderful oils. Now, we were going to have Christine teach tonight, and she wasn't able to teach. So Lee and I are team teaching the class tonight, and we're low in numbers, but Tammy and Heather, we're so glad you're here. And we know others will be watching the recording because a lot of people do that. So I get to start out because we are going to talk about a morning routine, and then Lee's going to talk about an evening routine. And I had to laugh because I started making my notes this morning, last minute preparation. But in my head, I'm thinking, I'll just share the few things I use every morning. It won't even take that long. It'll be short class tonight. It'll be great. And all day long, I just kept going, oh, I forgot this. And oh, I forgot that. And adding in till this is what I do in the morning, people. It's a whole page long. It's ridiculous. So then I gathered the items. So I know Lee has a wonderful presentation to show you on the computer, but I just gathered it all. So I'm going to share with you what I do in the morning. Now, today is the day I am feeling the healthiest as I have in a week. I got a cold from my grandkids, and my husband caught COVID. So I guess I should have had another oil story that he's been on guard and using the Breathe diffuser all week and hibernating. And I've been bringing the meals to him and setting him outside his door, and he'll eat it and then set his plate outside the door. And then I wash everything up. And I am praying all week that I'm not got COVID starting in me somewhere so that I can leave for convention tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. Anyway, so those things were being used a lot, but I've had a cold this week, and today I'm feeling fantastic. But every day this week, I started out with, well, I should have put everything in order because it's going to be a little bit tricky. Start out with my sore throat spray, and this thing has saved me through having a cold. I'm so thankful it didn't turn into bronchitis. I put On Guard cinnamon and clove and some water in a little spray bottle. You have to remember to shake it before you use it, and you spray it down your throat like that. And it is spicy. Ooh, On Guard cinnamon, clove, and it gives your throat a little anesthetic, kind of deadens it a little bit. The clove does that, I believe. And then the On Guard gives you help to heal. and the cinnamon as well. Those are wonderful oils to get right on your throat. So that's the way I've been starting my morning this week. Getting in the shower, first thing I do in the shower is I use my doTERRA shampoo and conditioner. Now, I really like the old shampoo. I don't really love the old conditioner. So what I do, and I know that our bodies work well when we switch things up a little bit. So what I do is I use the new shampoo and conditioner. Every other day, I use the old shampoo. And that's what I do. And it keeps my hair fantastic. And I use them just back and forth. Then a lot of this is while I'm in the shower. I just can't believe how many things there were. It's so funny. I use the facial cleanser that doTERRA has, and it has some peppermint in there and some other things that are great for the skin to wash my face. So you use a little bit of that. Then I use the bar soap. I didn't bring down my open one because I figured you didn't want to see that. But I use the bath soap that doTERRA has. And I really always make sure that I get it on my elbows because it just helps my elbows stay soft too. I do use the body butter sometimes, but not on a regular basis. And then this is a really fun thing to share with you. I have a little start, I call it my start to the day spray. And this is something that I keep in my shower. And it is about 5 drops of cedar wood, 5 drops of wild orange, and about 8 drops of peppermint in some water. Again, shake it up before you use it. I spray in my hands, about 2 sprays in my hand. I'm in the shower, lots of steam. And I spray it in my hand, make my own diffuser, and I breathe it in. And I breathe it in my nostrils to get it in the system there. And I breathe it in and oh, I feel it in my lungs immediately. It's an amazing way to start the day. And I shared one of these with Janie while she was living with me, and she loves that routine as well. So start to the day spray. And that's a great fun thing that I do. Okay, this one that I forgot until I started making my list today. I get out of the shower and I have a spray that sits right next to my shower. It's On Guard Cleaner, where you put in just a tablespoon and you add water. So this lasts a really long time. I use it to clean everything in my house, but I also use it every day I get out of the shower and I spray my shower down. And it makes it so that it doesn't, you know how our showers get a little moldy over time? It doesn't get as moldy and it doesn't do it as quickly as it used to. This really helps slow it down. And I love that because it's a super easy thing to do to just spray. Then it goes time to get dressed. And before I do, I use the deodorant. Now, doTERRA makes lots of different kinds now. This is Balance. They've got a couple others, and I'm not going to say what they are because I can't remember which ones they have.
Douglas fir.
Douglas fir.
They have the Douglas fir.
I think there's only a couple of
Yeah.
I want to say flavors, kinds, and sometimes they'll sporadically do some unusual kinds. So it's kind of fun to have that because all natural under your arms, right where you need it the most. Then I take my Yarrow Palm and I put Yarrow Palm and fractionated coconut oil in here, and I put it on my scars. So I've had some surgeries and I've had some things go on with me. So I put it on my scars, and then I use what's left on my hands and I rub it on the tops of my hands to help the liver spots, which I think are lightening up. I've got one on each hand and I'm very excited about Yarrow Palm helping there, but I do that every day. Then I have grapefruit. This is so funny how many things I use. It's not funny. It's fantastic. It's just amazing to me that I was going to teach this and didn't realize myself how many things I use. So grapefruit, I put grapefruit and fractionated coconut oil in there, and I put it on my arms every day to help flabby skin because I've lost weight. I have a lot of weight left to go, and I want the skin to come back as I hopefully continue to lose weight. So every day I spray the grapefruit all over my arms. And ooh, I love the smell of that too. It's a great start to the day. Okay, then my knees, which have not hurt now for months. So this is preventative, but I get a dab of deep blue and I rub it on my knees, on the insides where they've hurt in the past and all around. And then I take what's left on my hands and I rub it on my lower back. Not because I'm having backache, not because I'm having knee ache, but it's preventative for me. And I just feel like that maybe has really helped. So deep blue for preventative things. Then I take the gua sha, is that how you say it? Gua sha stuff that doTERRA put out. I think it's not available. It was at Christmas time. And I sit down to do my skin routine. And they told us to do some of this. And I do it here, and then I never had anybody say this, but I do it here because I figure those wrinkles that come here, that might help too. So I do it there, and I take the roller and I do here and I do here. Somebody should tell me if I'm doing this wrong, but I think I watched a video and that's what they said to do. But feels fantastic. It's this rose quartzy kind of stuff, so it's cool to the touch and really good for your skin. So I do that, and then I continue my skincare. I use the anti-aging eye cream, and the eye cream comes like this. You push here, the lotion comes out around this little steel ball. It again feels so cool to the touch. And I put it around my eyes, and I let it sit there for a minute while I give myself just a squirt of the Virage moisturizer. And I use that for the rest of my skin. And then I get this rubbed in around my eyes that I just put on and let sit there and rub it all around. And then I take what's left in my hands and I put it all here. This is so funny. This is a weird class. I'm just telling you everything I do, but that's okay. And then I go down to my desk where I take my Lifelong Vitality, which is an important part to my day. I take it at morning and at noon. I also do Terrazyme every day because that is whole food enzymes that help with the food that I eat and help my body use the food that I eat better. Every other day, I take PB Assist Junior so that I get the probiotics going in my system, and turmeric to be able to have the help of inflammation. So these two I switch off. That's what I've decided to do every other day. If I am feeling allergies, I've got my allergy here. This is Central Texas Allergy Blend, which is amazing. I haven't had to use it nearly as much now that I've used it for a while. And then while I've been sick, I've been putting Breathe in the diffuser, drop a lemon in my water to detoxify. And since I've been sick and I'm going on a trip, taking the On Guard soft gels. I also keep this downstairs because I don't want to have to walk back upstairs to brush my teeth. So I keep this in my cupboard so that I can quickly brush my teeth downstairs with doTerra stuff. So all of those things are doTerra natural products. I am so proud of myself for taking such good care of myself. I have not done that in most of my adult life. And I think that's what doTerra does for me. It helps me realize, what can I do to take care of myself preventatively, as well as if I had something come up that I needed help with. But if I use a natural product, then my body's not having to detoxify from anything. I'm not giving myself anything that the body doesn't appreciate. One of the things I do after I do all these wonderful doTerra things is some scripture time in the morning. I do a little bit of self-development reading every morning. It is so empowering to me. Every book I read seems to take a while because I read just a little bit every day. But oh my goodness, it just seems that I read what I need for that day. And so I'd really encourage you to do that a little bit every day. I also have an affirmation statement, and I'm going to share it with you, because what I do is I stand in front of my affirmation statement that I have on my bedroom wall, and I say it out loud, and then I have a little thing that I do while I stretch with it. So I am a being of light. Oh boy, I don't know why I read it every day. Why can't I get it in my head to say it? I'm a being of light. And high vibration. I'm a being of light and high vibration, uplifting and encouraging every person I come in contact with. And I do this stretch, and I stand in front of it and I stretch, and then I push all the negative back behind me and push it away. And every morning I'm feeling that, telling myself that's what I want to do, and pushing the negative behind me. I think that's pretty much my morning routine. How was that for visually?
That was beautiful. That was wonderful, Shaleen.
Okay.
So important to have a ritual, and the fact that Shaleen was so willing to share hers with us, just makes me really happy. So I'm going to talk about a nighttime ritual, an evening ritual. And can I share my screen, Shaleen?
Yes. And Tammy, I saw your comments. Thank you so much. And yes, I hear it's going to be hot in Utah. You guys are having hotter
Yes.
than we are right now. Oh my goodness. This looks beautiful, Lee.
Well, I'm trying to get to where I can do the slideshow from the beginning. There we go. Okay, so welcome to evening routines. So Shaleen's routine is all about waking up and being positive for your day ahead of time. And this routine is all about relaxing and getting the rest that we need to get. So I just kind of love this little picture and had the plants and I think those are makeups that are in there, but it looks like they're all made from natural things. So it made me happy. So I used it.
Awesome.
Okay. So Tiffany Peterson says, create an evening routine that helps you unplug from the world and technology and reconnect to yourself. Take a hot bath, read a book, or drink a warm tea. Put yourself to bed in a nurturing way. So that's what we want, is we want to nurture ourselves. That's part of what Shaleen shared too. She's nurturing ourselves. So how do you put your brain to bed? Do you have a regular evening ritual? How's the quality of your sleep? Is bedtime peaceful or is it hectic? What would you rather experience? Do you want to have a hectic bedtime or do you want to go peacefully to sleep? So let's set some goals about that. And the first thing we're going to talk about is technology. And I'm going to qualify this. You want to turn it off at least a half hour before you go to bed. Now, many of us like to listen to music when we go to sleep. It's calming. It helps us relax. That's fine. What you want is you don't want the light from your TV, your computer, your cell phone, your tablet. You don't want that light in your room because it interferes with our circadian rhythm. It makes our brain think it's still light outside. And when we think it's still light outside, our brain doesn't produce any melatonin. It slows down the melatonin production. And melatonin is an enzyme that helps us to sleep. It helps us to go to rest better. So I love to watch baseball, and I'm a San Francisco Giants fan, and they're on the West Coast. So if they're at home, those games don't start until their games when they're home start at 6:45. So that's 8:45. And they're in LA this week, and LA's games always start later because they have more traffic. So they don't start till 9:15. And it used to be when I first moved here, they didn't start till 9:30. So, so it's gotten better. But what I do is I have this lovely little mask, and I put that sleep mask on. It's got indentions here for my eyes. It blocks all the light. So I can still hear the announcer talking about the game, but I can go to sleep to that.
Wow.
I don't stay awake because the light is not interfering with my circadian rhythm. So if you are listening to music on your phone and the light bothers you, if it stays lit, some of our phones do, some of them don't, or on your computer or on your TV or on your tablet, get yourself a little mask, and that it will just, they're called sleep masks, and it'll really help you. Now, kids, I wouldn't recommend that for kids. They're not going to feel comfortable with something strapped on around their heads, but we can deal with that. So
I've heard of people putting drops of oil on the mask too.
absolutely, absolutely. Around, I would say around, and that would help to moisturize your skin, and you can smell the aroma. So that's a good way to do that too. So are you one of these people who gets in bed and can't stop thinking about what in the world I have to do tomorrow, what I didn't get done today. Well, if you are, do a little night before planning. Don't let tomorrow keep you awake tonight. Sit down and plan out your schedule for tomorrow. You can include in there anything you didn't finish today. It's not important enough that it should keep you awake. And this really does help you to release those anxieties about what you have to do tomorrow and what you didn't get done. If you just plan it out a little bit, it'll help you to relax. And then you might want to do some restful activities. So take a cool to a warm bath. Now, I know I just said Tiffany Peterson says take a hot bath, but our bodies at night are trying to cool down. That's one of the things that they do in refreshing themselves and getting ready for the next day. They cool down. So you want a cool to warm bath, not hot. And you can put some oils in there and it'll help you to relax. Do some reading. Maybe not the greatest mystery book in the world or the thriller that you really like, but something that will calm you down. Meditate. Even 10 minutes of meditation will help you to, that slow breathing will help you to slow down, put you in the current moment, and help you to be calmer. Again, use your oils for that. Drink a cup of hot tea. You can have a cup of hot tea while you're doing your night before planning or while you're journaling, which is another great thing to do in the evening, to remember the things that you were successful with during the day, to be grateful. Doing some journaling at bedtime is a great way to calm yourself down. Have a cup of tea with maybe a cup of sleepy time herbal tea with some Roman chamomile in it. And of course, we want to use our essential oils. So think about those, and we're going to go through now some products. Well, after I tell you about this, which I think is really important. Celebrity fitness trainer JJ Virgin said that if she had only one weight loss tip to give, it would be to get a quality 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night.
Yep.
And the top 1 to 3%, this is studies that people have done, of the wealthy and successful get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night. So it's important for us to get that sleep. So how can we help ourselves do that? Well, of course, doTerra has some wonderful products that can help us. This is a wonderful little blend called Liquid Sleep made with doTerra oils. This is a 5 ml roller bottle, and I would use a 10 ml because it's a lot of drops. So,
sometimes some of these older recipes just seem to me to have way too many drops in them.
yes,
We
yeah.
don't need that much.
No, but it calls for 15 drops of lavender, 10 drops of vetiver, 5 drops each of frankincense, wild orange, and ylang ylang, and 8 drops of Roman chamomile. And then you fill that bottle up with your carrier oil and shake it up really good. And then you roll it on the back of your big toe, the base of your big toe, 20 minutes before you crawl into bed. And of course, doTerra also makes some wonderful blends themselves, so you don't need to blend your own. We've got the Serenity blend and the Balance blend, which are excellent for us to be calming and help us to sleep. And this is something Shaleen and I can talk to you about if you have questions. This is one of the wellness kits that doTerra offers, and this one is specifically geared towards sleep. So what you do is it's $75 a month for 3 months. And in each of those 3 months, you get a kit, which has lots of really wonderful products in it to help us sleep and to relax. So you can see the first month, you get Cedar Wood oil and Serenity blend, you get the Calmer blend, you get Serenity soft gels, and you get the doTerra Serenity bath salts. So those are some great things that will help you. And the next 2 months, you'll get equally good products to help you with your sleep and being restful.
What I love about these wellness kits is they always seem to put something in there that we can't get anywhere else.
Exactly.
And so if you have a sleep issue, you get on this 3-month thing and they know the right things to help you to try. And then if you have respiratory issues, same thing, you get these 3 months worth of products that help with your respiratory system, digestive, pain, mood, and I think there's one more. Immunity.
Yes.
So it's just a great way to say, I know I want help with this area in my life and those wellness kits.
And you don't have to think about it
Yeah.
because they've put what you need in there.
Yep.
But we're going to think about it a little bit here. And I'm going to talk about some oils that you maybe don't necessarily think go with sleep, but these oils do. Cedar wood is the first one. It's very grounding. It's a tree oil. It has lots of sesquiterpenes in it, like frankincense has. And it'll help you to be grounded. Any of those tree oils make you feel rooted. So it's a really great oil to use. You can blend it with other oils that are calming as well. I love cedar wood at night. It's one of my favorite oils. Petitgrain, very unique oil. It's kind of a citrusy oil. It's clean and fresh smelling, but it's full of linalool, as is lavender. So it's very calming, and you can take it internally. So if you're having a problem sleeping, you could put it in a gel cap and take that to help your sleep. Next, I've got a couple of floral oils here, Melissa and Roman chamomile. And isn't it interesting how similar those flowers look that both of those oils come from? Now, Melissa is an expensive oil, but it's well worth it. It's very fresh and herbaceous when you smell it, and it's calming and soothing. And it just encourages relaxation. Roman chamomile is very similar. It is soothing with its aroma. It's also soothing to the skin and the digestive system. So when I spoke about putting it in a cup of tea, that's a great way to get your body to calm down for the evening, and it also will soothe your digestive tract. So blends really well with bergamot, lavender, and vetiver too. And the last two I'm going to show you here are vetiver and clary sage. Now, if you're one of these people who has a hard time staying asleep, vetiver is the oil that you want to go to. Again, it's very grounding. It is a go-to for those of us who have a hard time sleeping. It mixes well, blends well with lavender and ylang ylang. Also blends well with clary sage, which I have here, which is relaxing and balancing again. It's very herbal, a little bit floral. It's been used for centuries for its calming effects. And it's one of those oils that is good for our hormones. And of course, hormones will help us to sleep. We have hormones that help us to relax and sleep. So that's a good thing to use. And of course, there are lots of other oils and products that doTerra has. There's the standard go-to lavender, frankincense, ylang ylang, bergamot, sandalwood, copaiba, one of my favorites, and serenity, which is the restful blend. Now, these last two also come in a soft gel, the copaiba soft gel and the serenity soft gels. So you can put a little serenity on the bottoms of your feet and take a couple of serenity soft gels, and you probably will be set. If you're not like I am, needing the vetiver, of course, there's vetiver in serenity, so it's very helpful for getting that rest. So how do we use them? Well, we can diffuse. We just talked a little bit about that. Here's a couple of easy blends, 2 drops of lavender and cedar wood, and a drop of ylang ylang, a couple of drops of vetiver and lavender, and a drop of frankincense. And my favorite is the 2 drops of petitgrain, cedar wood, and frankincense. Diffuse that. Put it in your diffuser about an hour before you go to bed so it can just set the mood for you. Another way we can do this. Why do I have those spray bottles over there?
I don't know, but those are my favorite spray bottles. They're so cool. They miss.
doTerra?
doTerra sells them, and when you pull the trigger, it sprays a fine mist, but it keeps spraying. They're super cool misters. So
They are wonderful misters. And
And
when
I-
you mist,
and I put Serenity and water in one and shake it up and spray my bed and my pillow before I go to bed.
exactly. That's exactly what you want to do with them. And you could use a few drops of lavender and cedar wood, vetiver and bergamot, ylang ylang and sandalwood, whatever floats your boat. Another way to do that is to put those oils on a wool dryer ball and put them in the dryer when you put your linens in the dryer. And you'll also get the nice effects of those. And of course, we have the bottoms of our feet, which are just, it's a very effective way to create a restful environment. Just by putting one of those oils or blends on the bottoms of your feet, you'll be able to enjoy that aroma all night long, and it'll create help you maintain a peaceful atmosphere. So again, let's just recap what our goals are. We want to turn that technology off at least a half hour before we go to bed. If we are planners and fretters, worriers about what's coming the next day or what didn't get done today, do some night before planning, and then have some restful activities like taking a cool to a warm bath, reading something soothing, meditating, drinking some hot tea with oils, journaling, and you always use your essential oils and doTerra products. And that's my presentation.
I love it. So much good information. And if we could just try this, and then if that doesn't quite give us what we want, we try this. I know it takes a little bit of work, but when I have figured out what works for me and then do it on a regular basis, it is amazing the natural help that we get.
It is, and it's amazing how the brain works because it remembers. The limbic system remembers what happened when you smelled that the last time. So if you're being calmed down by the aroma of Serenity, the next time you smell it, your brain's going to say, oh, okay, it's time to go to sleep. So,
well, I am so appreciative to have these natural ways of help. I have family members that use melatonin to go to sleep a lot, as well as giving their children melatonin gummies, I guess, exist. So I'm like, and when I was watching them last weekend, they said, okay, well, the melatonin's in there. You're going to want to use that to help them go to sleep. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
not at their age. I think that's really, I did read something too that I wanted to mention and failed to. Cedar wood is very good for children who have nightmares. So if you have a child who wakes up in the middle of the night having a nightmare, you would want to take a couple of drops. Of course, depending on the age of the child, you want to dilute it, and you want to rub some of that on the bottoms of their feet. And I assume since it helps children with nightmares, it would also help us.
Yes, definitely.
And let's see, who asked? Somebody just asked a question. How many drops of Serenity in a 4-ounce bottle? So are you talking, Tammy, are you talking about putting it in a 4-ounce bottle?
Yeah, I think so.
A spray bottle?
Yeah.
Okay. I would probably put in a 4-ounce spray bottle, I'd probably put 10 to 15 and then fill the rest of it with water.
What I was going to say too.
Yeah.
You get good advice here, Tammy. I love it. And she says she's going to sleep so much better with all this great information.
Yes, I hope so.
Yay.
I hope so. That's our plan. That's why we do this.
Thank you so much for getting on tonight and giving us a chance to share these wonderful routines with you. Lee and I do this because we're passionate about using natural things in our lives, and we're passionate about sharing it just for the purpose of you having a healthier life. So appreciate you getting on. Next
Because
Tuesday.
we do. So we want you to too.
Yep, exactly right. Next Tuesday, unusually no class because we'll be listening to convention that week and have a lot going on. The following Tuesday, 2 weeks from tonight, please join. Leanne will be teaching us about the new things that are announced at convention. It's we just can't wait. There is we did get a little bit more training on this new product, and you're just not gonna want to miss learning about Meta Power. And power spelled PWR stands for positive wellness realized. And it is just such a blessing that doTERRA would spend years coming up with a natural product that helps with energy and skin and blood sugar and even weight loss. So super excited to learn more about it. The little bit I learned this week said that they did put stevia in it. They said, before you get in an uproar, they said, we have sourced the best stevia, the most natural, great quality stevia, to give it a little sweetener. It's a crystal that form crystallized powder that goes into water and you drink it. They've refigured the Slim and Sassy. A lot of these things are going to help our blood sugar stay in check, as well as they've had a lot of people with some weight loss that has been quite amazing. So I hope to be one of those people. We shall see where it is and what we find out. So join us in 2 weeks to learn more about the new products. And if you want to watch convention, you are welcome to sign up. There's even a smaller version. I think it's $35 where you can watch it virtually. There's a 79. I'm not sure that the bigger option is still available where you get the.
I don't think it is either. And it was 79. It was 59 for me because I got mine earlier. So
yeah, I'm not sure, but feel free to join.
The $35 one is available.
So what's good about watching convention is if you watch convention, you can then also purchase the convention kit on that day. Otherwise, you get to wait until October 1st. It has been announced that you will be able to get the kit of the new products on October 1st. The individual items won't be available until November 1st. So all those good things coming, and we can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks for getting on, and stay on if you're interested in some business for a little bit.